Ryan's office revenge.
I caught a $3.8 million error on a Wednesday morning that changed everything. By the following Monday, I was unemployed. By Friday of that week, 52 of my clients had walked out the door with me. The company lost 35% of its revenue in 5 days, and what happened during that week wasn't luck or coincidence. It was 22 years of relationship building coming home to roost. My name is Russell Brooks, and at 48, I'd spent over 2 decades building client relationships that generated $68 million annually for Kane and Associates. I thought loyalty went both ways. I was about to learn exactly how wrong I was. That Wednesday started like any other day in my 22-year career. I arrived at the office at 6:30 a.m., same routine I'd followed since joining the company fresh out of business school. My coffee was cooling on the desk while I reviewed quarterly projections for our biggest accounts. These weren't just numbers on spreadsheets. They were relationships I'd nurtured since some of these companies were startups operating out of converted warehouses and rented office spaces. The boardroom was filling up by 8:30. Oliver Stone from Summit Technologies sat in his usual corner spot, scrolling through quarterly reports on his tablet. Grace Palmer from Apex Financial was chatting with Samantha Foster from Sterling Group about her daughter's college acceptance letter. These executives trusted me with budgets that could fund entire divisions of their companies. I'd earned that trust through late-night crisis calls, saved campaigns that others had written off, and 22 years of never once letting them down. Then Ashley Kane walked in, and the temperature in the room shifted. She was 23 years old, exactly 6 weeks into her role as Senior Strategy Director, which was a title that didn't exist until she showed up fresh out of her MBA program. Her uncle Howard Kane had founded Kane and Associates 30 years ago, and Ashley was his brother's only daughter. She carried herself with the confidence of someone who'd never faced real consequences for their mistakes, never had to rebuild from failure. "Good morning, everyone," she announced with that practiced enthusiasm they teach in business school presentations. I've made some strategic optimizations to our quarterly presentation. I'd been in this business long enough to know that when someone uses the phrase strategic optimizations, you better check your wallet and count your fingers. I opened her revised deck on my laptop and felt my stomach drop like a stone. Slide 18 showed the budget breakdown for Summit's major product expansion initiative. The numbers were catastrophically, dangerously wrong. She'd moved a decimal point, turning our carefully negotiated $3.8 million investment into a $38 million fantasy that would bankrupt the entire project and probably sink Summit's expansion plans for the next 5 years. I stood up carefully, keeping my voice measured. "Ashley, we need to review slide 18 before we continue with the presentation." Her expression shifted from confident to defensive in a heartbeat. I spent hours perfecting those numbers last night. The decimal placement shows $38 million for Summit's digital rollout initiative. Our agreed figure is $3.8 million. Oliver's head snapped up from his tablet like he'd been struck by lightning. $38 million for 1 quarter's expansion? "It's a transcription error," I said quickly, pulling up my original deck with the correct figures. "I have the verified numbers here." Ashley's face went crimson. "I don't appreciate being contradicted in front of clients, Russell. Contradicted. Like preventing a disaster that could destroy 3 years of careful partnership building was somehow a personal insult to her ego." I opened my mouth to respond diplomatically, but Howard Kane appeared in the doorway like a storm cloud. Our CEO rarely attended these operational client meetings anymore. He'd been delegating the day-to-day work to people who actually understood the industry details. But there he stood, watching his niece's public humiliation unfold in real time in front of our most important clients. "Perhaps we should take a brief recess," Howard suggested, his tone carrying that dangerous calm that comes right before someone gets fired. The clients filed out quietly. Grace caught my eye and mouthed, "Thank you," as she passed. Oliver nodded at me with understanding. Samantha looked concerned but grateful. They all understood exactly what catastrophe I'd just prevented. 3 years of careful relationship building, millions in potential revenue, Summit's entire expansion timeline, all saved by catching one misplaced decimal point. Howard approached as the room emptied, with Ashley hovering behind him like a scolded child waiting for Daddy to fix her problems. "That was poorly handled, Russell," he said in a voice like winter. I blinked, genuinely confused. I prevented a $3.8 million miscommunication that could have destroyed our credibility with Summit and derailed their entire expansion. You embarrassed a senior member of my team in front of our most important clients. I protected our clients' interests and our company's reputation. That's what you pay me to do." His smile was ice cold and sharp as a blade. "Did you?" That's when it hit me like a sledgehammer. My 22 years at this company meant absolutely nothing to him. The relationships I'd built, the revenue I'd generated, the countless crises I'd solved, the late nights and early mornings, none of it mattered. What mattered was that I'd made his precious niece look incompetent in front of people who signed million-dollar checks. Family trumped competence. Blood beat performance. The meeting resumed with my original, correct numbers. Oliver approved everything without hesitation, but the atmosphere in the room had changed completely. Ashley sat silent, stabbing her notepad with her pen like she was trying to murder it. Howard stayed for the entire presentation, his presence like a dark promise hanging over everything. After the clients left, Oliver lingered behind while the others gathered their materials. "Russell, that was close," he said quietly. "If we'd approved those numbers and started moving forward," he glanced toward where Howard and Ashley had disappeared down the hallway. "Watch yourself, man. That looked personal." But I was already watching. The problem was, I had no idea that the knife was already falling. The email arrived at 4:47 p.m. that same day. Subject line, mandatory HR meeting, urgent. I'd been with Kane & Associates for 22 years and had never received an urgent HR summons. The timing wasn't coincidental. I saved everything I was working on and quietly backed up my client files to my personal cloud drive. Technically against company policy, but I'd learned to read the writing on the wall over 2 decades in corporate America. The walk to HR felt surreal. Kane & Associates occupied the 32nd through 34th floors of downtown's premier business tower, all glass walls and minimalist design that cost more than most people's houses. I'd helped choose the conference room layouts and fought for the client lounge spaces that had facilitated countless million-dollar handshakes. Now I was walking through it like a condemned man heading to the gallows. Diane Carter sat behind her mahogany desk like an executioner who'd rather be anywhere else. Howard occupied the chair beside her, hands folded, expression completely unreadable. Ashley was conspicuously absent. She wouldn't dirty her manicured hands with the actual execution. "Russell, please sit," Diane said in that special HR tone, professionally sympathetic, legally airtight, emotionally sterile. Howard spoke first, his voice carrying the authority of 30 years of running his own company. "We've received concerns about your management approach and leadership style. My management approach that had maintained 100% client retention for 22 consecutive years. My leadership style that had mentored 15 junior consultants into successful careers, 8 of whom now held executive positions at major corporations. Your inability to collaborate effectively with new leadership," Diane read from her prepared notes. "Creating hostile environments for developing executives. Undermining authority in front of clients. Developing executives who nearly cost us $3.8 million this morning. Undermining authority by preventing financial catastrophe." Howard's jaw tightened slightly. "This isn't about this morning's incident." But we all knew it was entirely about this morning's incident. This was about protecting his niece's fragile ego at the expense of 22 years of exemplary service. "We're terminating your employment effective immediately," Diane continued, her voice never wavering from its professional monotone. "Security will escort you to collect your belongings." "On what grounds exactly?" I asked, though I already knew the answer. "At-will employment. No specific cause required. You'll receive 4 weeks severance pay and benefits continuation through the end of next month." 4 weeks. After 22 years, 4 weeks was their idea of generosity. And my client relationships? Howard smiled then, cold and certain as winter. "Kane & Associates clients will continue receiving excellent service from our capable team." That's when I realized how fundamentally he'd misunderstood the situation. Howard thought client loyalty was about company letterhead and corporate branding. He was about to get a very expensive education. Security arrived right on schedule. Paul, the head guard who I'd given Christmas bonuses to for 15 years, looked genuinely miserable as he escorted me back to my corner office. 22 years of professional life condensed into a single cardboard box. The client whisperer mug from Oliver, the small cactus from Grace that had somehow survived 8 years of fluorescent lighting, awards from industry associations, and photos from company retreats where I'd helped build the foundation this place stood on. I looked directly at the security camera mounted above my desk. Howard would definitely review this footage later, searching for tears or breakdown or defeat. Instead, I smiled directly at the lens. 5 days, I said quietly, just loud enough for the microphone to pick up. Paul shifted uncomfortably beside me. Sir? Nothing, Paul. Just thinking out loud about the future. My phone started buzzing before I even reached the parking garage. Oliver's name appeared on the screen. What the hell just happened? Grace texted me that you're leaving the building with security. I've been terminated, effective immediately, over this morning's presentation incident. That's completely insane. Russell, you literally saved our entire project today. Apparently my leadership style conflicts with the company's new team dynamics. He swore creatively for about 30 seconds. This is Howard protecting Ashley's feelings. You know that, right? You saved us millions and he fired you for it. I appreciate that perspective, Oliver. Where are you going now? Home to figure out my next steps. Linda doesn't know yet. We need to talk. Soon. Very soon. This isn't right. I sat in my car in the parking garage for several minutes with that cardboard box in the passenger seat like a funeral arrangement. 22 years of my professional life. I'd given Kane and Associates the best years of my career, built relationships worth nearly $70 million in annual revenue, and saved them from countless potential disasters. It ended at 4:47 p.m. on a Wednesday because I'd done my job too competently. But Howard Kane had made one critical, expensive mistake. He thought the client relationships belonged to Kane and Associates. He thought people signed contracts with companies instead of with the individuals they trusted. He was about to discover exactly how wrong that assumption was. I had 5 days to show him who really owned this business. 5 days to demonstrate the difference between a company name on letterhead and genuine professional relationships built over decades. The drive home felt like traveling between two different worlds. Same route I'd taken for 22 years, but now I was unemployed for the first time since college. Linda's car was already in the driveway when I pulled up. She worked part-time as a substitute teacher, which gave us flexibility but also made my income absolutely critical for our family's financial stability. She was starting dinner when I walked in carrying the box. "You're early," she said, then noticed my expression in the cardboard container. Oh no. What happened? I told her everything over reheated leftover meatloaf. Linda listened without interrupting, the way she had for 19 years of marriage, occasionally asking clarifying questions, but mainly just letting me talk through the whole disaster. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment, processing the implications. "What are you going to do?" she finally asked. "I'm going to show Howard Kane what loyalty actually looks like," I said. That evening, I opened my personal laptop and pulled out a flash drive I'd been building for the past 3 years. Call it insurance, call it preparation, call it paranoia. But I'd been documenting every major project, every client satisfaction survey, every documented success story. More importantly, I'd been remembering every conversation where clients had asked about my future plans. "Would you ever consider going independent, Russell? If you started your own consulting firm, I'd want to be your first client. What would it take to work with you directly instead of through Kane?" I'd deflected those questions professionally for years, maintaining loyalty to my employer while secretly filing away every expression of interest. Now those conversations looked like the foundation of something much bigger. My phone rang at 9 p.m. while I was still organizing my files. Lucas Meyer's name appeared on the screen. He was a corporate attorney and former client who'd moved in-house at Pinnacle Corp 3 years ago. We'd worked together for 8 years before his transition, and he understood both the legal landscape and the dirty politics of corporate consulting. "Heard you had an interesting day," he said without preamble. "News travels fast in this industry." Grace called me first, then Oliver, then about 6 other people. The entire professional network is buzzing. You've got everyone's attention. "I need legal advice, Lucas." "Figured you might. Coffee tomorrow morning. That place on 5th Street you like. Make it 7 a.m. sharp." The next morning started with purpose instead of my usual routine. Lucas was already waiting when I arrived, coffee ordered, and an annotated copy of my employment contract spread across the table. "Section 7, subsection B," he said, highlighting the relevant text with a yellow marker. "You cannot directly solicit Kane and Associates clients for 12 months. Cannot approach them with competing offers. Cannot encourage them to breach existing contracts. I know what it says, Lucas. But here's what it doesn't say. He flipped to the next page. Doesn't prevent you from announcing your professional availability. Doesn't stop clients from reaching out to you independently. Doesn't prohibit you from existing in the same industry. And most critically, it says nothing about clients who independently choose to terminate their existing relationships. I leaned forward. So if they're dissatisfied with their new account management, that's entirely their business decision. You can't create the dissatisfaction, but if it already exists naturally. He shrugged. Market forces at work. By 9 a.m., I'd carefully crafted my LinkedIn announcement. After 22 incredible years at Kane & Associates, I'm exploring new opportunities. Deeply grateful for the relationships built and trust earned. While I consider next steps, I remain passionate about strategic consulting and client success. Neutral, professional, absolutely loaded with subtext for anyone who could read between the lines. My phone exploded within minutes of posting. Text messages, LinkedIn notifications, emails flooding my personal account. I waited for specific names, the ones that mattered. Grace from Apex Financial. Saw your update. Can we talk? Oliver from Summit. What happened? Call me when you can. Samantha Foster from Sterling. Free for lunch today? My treat. I responded with carefully neutral language. Really appreciate you reaching out, taking time to evaluate all my options, but always happy to connect with valued colleagues. By 3 p.m., I'd fielded 14 phone calls. Each conversation followed the same predictable pattern: initial shock at my sudden departure, careful fishing for details about what happened, then the crucial question that everyone was dancing around: what are your plans? Still figuring that out, I told each caller. But I definitely want to continue working with people who value genuine partnership and proven results. I wasn't soliciting anything. I was simply existing as an unemployed consultant. If they read deeper meaning into that existence, that was entirely their prerogative. The most revealing call came from Samantha Foster at Sterling Group. We'd worked together for 9 years, building her company from a regional manufacturer to a national player with facilities in 8 states. Ashley Kane just emailed about taking over our account, she said, her voice carefully controlled. She misspelled our company name, twice. I said nothing, letting the silence speak for itself. She also seems to think we're a technology company. Russell, we manufacture automotive parts. It's literally our primary tagline. I remained silent, legally safer that way. Samantha sighed deeply. I'm not asking you to say anything specific, but if you start something new, something that values attention to detail and actually understanding what clients do, I'd be extremely interested in having that conversation. I really appreciate our professional friendship, Samantha. These past 9 years have meant everything to my career. Friendship, exactly. And friends keep in touch, don't they? After we hung up, I marked Sterling Group on my private spreadsheet. One solid prospect. By evening, I had 31 stars next to client names. 31 companies that had expressed various levels of dissatisfaction, curiosity, or outright eagerness to explore alternatives to their current arrangement. Ashley had apparently been busy scheduling transition meetings for Thursday, sending calendar invites with the subject line, "Exciting new direction for your partnership." The early feedback from those who'd attended was universally negative. Confusion about basic company details, irritation at her lack of preparation, and a growing sense that Kane & Associates had just demonstrated exactly how little they valued these relationships. The second day, I toured a shared office space downtown. Professional business address, conference room access when needed, and most importantly, no direct view of Kane & Associates' corporate logo glaring at me from across the city. The building manager recognized my name from LinkedIn and industry connections. "We'd be honored to have you here, Mr. Brooks. When would you like to start?" "Today, if possible." By 10 a.m., I had a temporary desk and a view that didn't include my former professional life. I'd also reached out to 2 people I'd mentored over the years. Sophie Martinez, a brilliant financial analyst who'd left Kane & Associates after Howard passed her over for promotion despite outstanding performance, and Ryan Walsh, an account manager whose considerable talents were being systematically wasted on small, low-impact accounts. "You're building something," Sophie said when she arrived at my new office space around noon. "That's not a question. Maybe I am. Would you be interested?" "Russell, I've been waiting for you to break free from that place for years. What took you so long?" My phone had been buzzing constantly all morning with messages from clients who'd suffered through Ashley's transition meetings. The feedback was getting progressively worse. From Joyce Miller at Industrial Solutions, she asked if we wanted to pivot to social media marketing. We manufacture heavy industrial machinery for construction sites. From Ryan Torres at Logistics Plus, she suggested we explore influencer partnerships. We're a B2B freight transportation company serving manufacturing clients. But the message that made me close my office door was from Oliver at Summit Technologies' emergency situation. Ashley forgot to submit our contract renewal paperwork. It was due yesterday. We're technically out of contract as of this morning. Please tell me you have copies of everything. I had copies. Of course I had copies. 22 years in consulting had taught me that documentation was survival. The question was what to do with that information. I called Lucas immediately. Hypothetically speaking, if a former client reached out because their new account manager had dropped a critical deadline, legally you have absolutely no duty to help fix their operational mistakes. And if that client asked about alternative service arrangements due to their current provider's failures, they'd be making an independent business decision. I texted Oliver back. I have complete documentation of everything. Happy to discuss over coffee this afternoon. We met at 2 p.m. Oliver looked like he hadn't slept, his usually perfect hair disheveled and his tie loosened. She didn't even know contract renewals were required, he said, shaking his head. Howard's in full crisis management mode, but legally we're free agents as of yesterday. I slid a comprehensive folder across the table. Every contract term, every project addendum, every revision from the past 3 years, all meticulously organized and indexed. Oliver exhaled slowly. You're saving us again, aren't you? That's what genuine partners do for each other. He looked up sharply at my choice of words. Partners? Just a figure of speech. I let the implication hang in the air. Although I am exploring new approaches to client service, more personalized attention, the kind of partnership that ensures critical deadlines don't accidentally get forgotten. We talked for another hour and 15 minutes. Not directly about contracts or specific terms, just two seasoned professionals discussing industry challenges, the difficulties of finding truly reliable partners, and the absolute importance of attention to detail in complex business relationships. The subtext was deafening to anyone listening carefully. Back at my temporary office, Sophie had compiled a detailed competitive analysis of the consulting market, and Ryan was sketching organizational charts for a hypothetical firm structure. We weren't officially a company yet, but we were thinking strategically like one. How many? Sophie asked, looking up from her laptop. How many what? How many clients are genuinely ready to make the move? I looked at my phone, which had been buzzing constantly with increasingly frustrated messages from former clients. More than Howard thinks he's losing. Less than we need for a sustainable launch. But it's only been 48 hours. That evening, I sent carefully worded follow-up messages to my most interested prospects. Thank you for your kind words and continued friendship. Very excited about future possibilities for enhanced collaboration with like-minded partners who value excellence. The responses were immediate and enthusiastic across the board. By day 3, I had 44 stars on my private spreadsheet. The morning of day 3 arrived with electric anticipation building. I'd scheduled 4 strategic video calls with clients who'd reached out most urgently over the past 48 hours. Not solicitation meetings, simply responding to their explicit requests for consultation during this industry transition period. The first call at 9 a.m. was with Samantha Foster from Sterling Group. She dispensed with all pleasantries immediately. We're terminating Kane and Associates, she announced. Ashley sent our confidential expansion plans to our primary competitor by mistake yesterday. She confused us with another automotive company entirely. I kept my expression carefully neutral. I'm genuinely sorry to hear about these operational challenges. Don't apologize to me. Be available for us. We need someone who actually understands our business model, our market position, and our customer base. Someone who's demonstrated consistent results over nearly a decade. Samantha, you know my contractual restrictions prevent me from soliciting us directly. My legal team reviewed your non-compete thoroughly. But if we independently terminate Kane and choose a new strategic consultant who happens to be the most qualified person in the industry, that's entirely our business decision. One major account committed. The second call at 11 a.m. included Oliver and 3 Summit Technologies board members. We've been discussing our options extensively, Oliver began diplomatically. The board has developed serious concerns about Kane and Associates' recent management changes and operational reliability. One board member, a sharp-eyed woman in her early 60s, cut directly to the core issue. We invest $4.8 million annually in strategic consulting. We expect absolute excellence, not amateur-hour excuses. I chose my words with surgical precision. Generally speaking, businesses thrive with consulting partners who demonstrate unwavering attention to detail, deep industry understanding, and genuinely proactive communication. When evaluating long-term options, proven track records and established relationships matter significantly more than corporate promises. The third board member nodded approvingly. Howard called me personally yesterday morning, assured me this whole situation was just temporary growing pains. Mr. Kane is certainly skilled at managing external perceptions, I said with diplomatic neutrality. Oliver smiled slightly. He's skilled at protecting his niece's feelings. That's a fundamentally different skill set. By the call's conclusion, they'd unanimously decided to explore all available strategic alternatives. Corporate translation, they were gone. The final call at 1 p.m. was a conference including 9 clients organized by Grace from Apex Financial. This was the moment I'd been building toward. We've been talking among ourselves, Grace said simply, all of us, about the dramatic changes at Kane, about our growing concerns, about what we actually need for successful long-term partnerships. Familiar faces filled my computer screen. Joyce from Industrial Solutions, Ryan from Logistics Plus, executives from companies I'd personally helped grow from modest regional operations to major industry players. Yesterday's transition meeting was an absolute disaster, Joyce said with uncharacteristic bluntness. Ashley couldn't answer fundamental questions about our 5-year strategic plan because she'd never bothered to review our basic company profile. Grace regained control of the conversation. Here's what we want to understand, Russell. If hypothetically a group of established companies needed more specialized, personalized attention than a large corporate firm could realistically provide, what would you recommend? This was the critical moment, the tightrope between legal safety and honest communication. I'd recommend they find someone who wakes up every morning thinking about their success, someone who genuinely celebrates their victories and loses sleep over their challenges, someone who sees them as true partners, not just portfolio line items. I paused deliberately. I'd recommend they choose demonstrated expertise over empty ego, authentic relationships over pure revenue generation, and consistently proven results over corporate marketing promises. And where exactly might we find someone like that? Ryan asked with a knowing smile. Sometimes the most effective solutions emerge from unexpected industry transitions. Significant change can catalyze something substantially better than what existed before. The call continued for 50 minutes. By its conclusion, I had 9 additional verbal commitments to explore partnership alternatives as soon as legally permissible. Combined with earlier conversations, that represented 19 major accounts ready to transition immediately. Sophie knocked on my office door as I finished the final call. You absolutely need to see this. She showed me an email blast Kane and Associates had sent to their entire client base. Exciting leadership announcement. Ashley Kane promoted to Executive Vice President of Client Relations, effective immediately. They'd actually promoted her. After 3 consecutive days of documented disasters, they'd given her a higher title and more authority. It's pure panic, Ryan observed. They're hemorrhaging major clients and their response is doubling down on nepotism. My phone immediately exploded with notifications. Clients who'd been cautiously undecided were suddenly pushed over the edge by this final institutional insult. The star count on my spreadsheet climbed rapidly, 35, 43, 48, 52. By 6 p.m., I had 52 committed stars. 52 established companies ready to follow me into whatever professional venture came next. 5 days. It had taken exactly 5 days to demonstrate the fundamental difference between owning legal contracts and earning genuine professional loyalty. Lucas called at 7:30 p.m., heard through industry channels that Kane and Associates held an emergency board meeting tonight. Something about addressing a sudden mass client exodus. I've been entirely focused on my own future planning. What current clients choose to do is completely their independent business. Absolutely right. Keep your phone available. Tomorrow's going to be very professionally interesting. I sent one final message to my 52 committed prospects. Thank you for your patience during this transition period. Exciting announcements coming very soon about new partnership opportunities specifically focused on excellence and authentic long-term collaboration. Then I poured myself a well-deserved bourbon and smiled with deep satisfaction. 5 days, exactly as predicted. The spectacular implosion began immediately. I woke the next morning to 63 accumulated messages. A junior Kane and Associates employee's LinkedIn post was rapidly going viral. Watching your company lose 35% of annual revenue because senior leadership chose family nepotism over demonstrated competence is professionally educational. To fellow job seekers currently updating resumes, I'll be joining you shortly. This ship isn't gradually sinking. Someone deliberately drilled multiple holes in the hull. Industry social media exploded with brutal memes about misplaced decimal points and chronically misspelled company names. Howard called at 11:15 a.m. His voice was tightly controlled, but I could clearly hear the underlying cracks. "We should talk immediately. We have absolutely nothing to discuss. You deliberately orchestrated this, systematically sabotaged my company. I've done nothing except exist as an unemployed consultant, Howard. If your clients consistently choose people who genuinely value their success, that's basic market dynamics. We'll sue for non-compete violations, interference with established business relationships. Please proceed. Sue me for professionally responding when former clients independently reached out. See how that strategy plays in the business press." Extended silence. Then, "What exactly do you want from this?" There it was. The moment when power shifted completely and permanently. "I don't want anything from you, Howard. I already have everything I actually need: professional integrity, demonstrated expertise, and the earned trust of people who genuinely matter. The board is demanding immediate answers. Ashley has..." He stopped abruptly. "Ashley has what? Finally been exposed as completely overwhelmed and fundamentally underqualified? She's family, and they were my clients. You made your choice very clearly." 6 weeks later, I signed official incorporation papers for Brooks Strategic Partners. We'd secured professional office space, grown to 15 talented employees, and our client roster was extraordinary. Every single one of the 52 companies had followed through on their commitments, and we'd gained 8 additional clients through referrals. Howard's LinkedIn announcement appeared that same week. After 30 years of dedicated leadership, I'm stepping down as CEO of Kane and Associates to pursue new opportunities and spend time with family. The comment section told the real story. Decimal point disasters, misspelled client communications, legal threats against departing clients. His carefully crafted corporate exit was completely buried under documented truth. That evening, Linda and I celebrated with excellent wine, finally secure in our family's financial future. 22 years of relationship building had ultimately paid off in ways Howard Kane never understood. "You know what the real difference was?" Linda asked. "You never saw them as accounts to manage or revenue to extract. You saw them as businesses to genuinely help succeed." She was absolutely right. That's precisely why all 52 followed me out the door. Sometimes the person you fire on Wednesday becomes the competition you fear by the following Monday. 5 days, 52 loyal clients, one experienced professional who refused to let anyone else define his worth or value. That's not revenge. That's respect, finally, properly recognized. 22 years taught me something they don't cover in business school. Competence builds bridges that nepotism burns down. And when those bridges collapse, everyone remembers who actually knew how to build them.